Automotive Reviews. Vice is wrong. The 2021 Ford Bronco isn't climate denialism. If you're not into cars, and I'm sure that's not the case, considering you're visiting its website, you may not know that Ford has doubled down on electrification in the past couple of years. The Mustang is now available as an electric crossover. The F-150 can be had with a Power Boost hybrid V6 engine. And the Explorer is available both as an HEV and PHV. Vice, however, isn't an automotive website. It's many things to many people, but the American-Canadian company leans to the left so much that their bias is controversial at best. Vice also happens to label the all-new Bronco as obscene monument to climate denialism, and a very flawed, a very biased story. Let's start with the introduction, shall we? In the year 2020, there's simply no excuse. No excuse at all for releasing a brand new SUV without so much as a hybrid option. Vice is pushing it. And it's pushing it too for not mentioning anything about Dearborn-based automaker 2019 annual meeting of shareholders. Last May, the Ford Motor Company explicitly confirmed hybrid electrics, like the Explorer and the Bronco, and they've already delivered in a European case. The left-leaning publication has also described the newcomer as best known for transporting a fugitive along the Southern California freeway. Probably the pretest thing to say in relation to both Ford and O.J. Simpson. But the kicker is that Vice is trying to convince its readers that the Bronco was never an especially popular vehicle because it was never an especially practical one. Right? Now, comparing the production numbers of the original from the 1960s and the previous generation from the 1990s to the modern body-on-frame SUVs, it's not how market research works. Vice also compares the Bronco total sales volume to the number of F-Series pickup trucks that Ford sold in 2019, which is a totally different segment and demographic. That's not perspective. That's just plain wrong. Now, another quote that meant to shame the 2021 Ford Bronco buyers into giving up on their reservation is, SUVs are bad for the environment because they get worse gas mileage than smaller, lighter cars. If Vice knew that all the big three in Detroit were wrestled into dropping traditional cars like the Fusion for SUVs, because that's what consumers want, they would have come up with a better argument than throwing a Greta Thunberg-style tantrum. The final paragraph of the write-up on Vice is meant to bring more shame to Bronco customers and Ford, underlining yet again that customers won't have the option of a hybrid. Spoiler alert, the hybrid or plug-in hybrid option is likely to roll out next year for the 2022 model year. Why? Well, the most obvious reason is that Jeep is on the brink of launching the Wrangler 4xe. An all-electric option has also been confirmed by Fiat Chrysler, and it'll also be available as a Rubicon. Oh, and by the way, Chief Executive Jim Hackett announced 2 years ago that Ford will invest $11 billion in green machines in order to launch 40 hybrids, plug-in hybrids, and EVs. Vice has gingerly forgotten to mention that Jeep is preparing to roll out The 6.4 liter
Climate change puts the health of our children and economy at
Hemi
risk.
V8
But Donald Trump denies.
and the Wrangler in 2021. Gray areas, the Bronco comes standard with a 4-cylinder turbo and an available twin-turbo V6 from the EcoBoost family. We don't have EPA fuel economy figures for the Bronco, but we can get a good idea about the potential of these engines by checking out the Ranger and the F-150. The 2.3-liter EcoBoost returns 23 miles per gallon on a combined cycle, while the 2.7-liter option and a half-ton workhorse is rated at 22 miles per gallon. Comparing these figures to the 1990 Bronco would be wrong. So let's settle for two modern-day equivalents. With the Duramax 2.8-liter turbo diesel, the Chevy Colorado tops 23 miles per gallon combined. The 2.7-liter trip-power turbo 4-cylinder and the Silverado 1500, on the other hand, offers worse fuel economy and real-world driving, real-world that is, than a small black V8 and the 2.7-liter EcoBoost V6 that Ford offers in the F-150 and the Bronco. Now, in conclusion, the Bronco isn't an obscene monument to climate denialism. EV coaching is one of the digital instrument clusters, the display modes. This feature indirectly confirms that a plug-in hybrid Bronco is in the works. Definitely, most definitely. Ford Bronco Ford is definitely going to raise up to the occasion. To combat climate warming, and all the automotive manufacturers have committed billions and billions of dollars to climate change and making the environment a healthy place by making their vehicles into hybrids and EVs. There's so much more about the Ford Bronco. In the 6th generation Ford Bronco, of course we all know that the Ford Bronco has been around since the 60s. But this production, created by Paul Wraith, who was the chief program designer, and Robert Gerlin, who's design manager, this is one ultimate midsize SUV, 2-door and 4-door convertible SUVs, that is, with a 2.3 liter EcoBoost and a 2.7 liter EcoBoost V6. So the one thing about the Ford Bronco is that they're going to raise up to the occasion. And we're definitely going to see an all-electric Ford Bronco, just like you see the 4xe that's going to be coming out. Ultimate wheelbase of 100.4 inches, 116.1 inches for the 4-door, the length being 174.8 inches for the 2-door, and 189.4 inches for the 4-door. For the 2021 model year, the Bronco is the 6th generation after 25 years of hiatus of the nameplate, adopting many of the straight-edge design elements from the 1966 to 1977 series. Now, this is an SUV for the first time, bringing its chassis and powertrain underpinning closer to the Ford Ranger. This is definitely nice. Going against its direct competitor Jeep Wrangler, the Bronco 2-door and the 4-door convertibles are also reconfigurable. Now, the revival of the Ford Bronco all came in attention of 2016. And if that meeting we talked about with the United Auto Workers at the Michigan Assembly was to lose production of the 4th generation Focus and the C-Max hybrid to Mexico, responded to the decision that the UAW revealed to the media that the factory was to remain open and to be retooled for the revival of the Ford Ranger and the Ford Bronco. And at that time, Ford did refuse to comment, but officially confirmed the return of the Bronco at the 2017 North American International Auto Show. Again, packaged as a direct competitor to the Jeep Wrangler. It was intended for a 2020 model year release, but that changed with the pandemic. Now, the Ford Ranger retaining the body-on-frame construction. Now, in contrast to the globally marketed Ford Everest, the Bronco was to receive a distinct body, which it did, and it will, and it has, to further optimize the off-road use. Now, back then, we saw the pre-prototype that was revealed to dealers March 2019. And the release date's definitely coming. Things have changed, from COVID-19 and the unintentionally scheduled unveiling that was going to be July 19th, the day O.J. Simpson's birthday. Now, when it revealed, it was a $100 reservation. And honestly, that blew up. There were so many reservations that now the first delivery is scheduled to be 2021 of June. Now, alongside the Ford Ranger at the Michigan Assembly Plant in Wayne, Michigan, assembly of the model line returns on the facility previous 5 generations, coinciding with the exit of Ford from the sedan production. The 4th generation Focus was not introduced to North America, and the C-Max was discontinued altogether. So, Ford is definitely, going in a progressive direction. Now, the standard power plant, of course, we all know the 2.3 liter turbocharged EcoBoost inline 4 makes about 270 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque, which just is straight out amazing. We know the EcoBoost V6 is optional. That thing kicking out 400 pound-feet of torque. So there's a lot. Happening with the Ford Bronco. Now, as far as climate denialism, yes, hybrid model is coming, and all electrification is coming too as well for the Ford Bronco. Definitely really nice, folks. And definitely not climate denialism. Ford is raising up to the occasion with the Bronco. And the Bronco will leave a mark. This is AO Automotive Reviews. Thanks for watching. Remember, like, share, and subscribe.
If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more interesting videos.